So last week I came out with my top 10 watches thus far for 2022. And of course I have to follow that up with the worst watches of 2022 thus far. And I did this in a very democratic way. I went through all of my videos and I looked at the videos that got the most negative comments. And those are the watches that are basically on this list. I have 5 watches to talk about here, and all 5 of them were the most hated watches that I covered this year on my channel. So I'm gonna get right into it. There are a few real steamers on this list. Some of them actually don't really 100% agree with it, but all of them got very negative comments. So the first watch on this list is probably the least hated watch on this list. Now that doesn't mean that it didn't get a ton of negative comments. It did. It just got less negative comments than the other watches on this list. And that first watch is the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra Pastel Dial. So they came out with these earlier in the year, obviously trying to compete with Rolex and the OP, the colorful OPs that they came out with in the prior year. And a lot of people did not like this move from Omega. And Omega have done this with other watches as well, trying to compete with Rolex by making watches that sort of look similar. Not really a good look for Omega. I wish they would stop doing this. I think people love Omega for what they are, and they have a lot of strong points, and they should really lean into those and not try and copy Rolex. And that's why this video got tons of negative comments. This video is brought to you by Whatnot.com. Whatnot.com are a community marketplace for collectors like me and you. Whatnot uses a live stream format where you can actually buy and sell watches during a live stream. They have auction functionality, buy now functionality, and giveaway functionality. In fact, that's where I'll be doing most of my giveaways going forward to help avoid scammers. Not only that, I'll be selling all of my watches going forward on Whatnot because I really love the format. I love the community aspect of it. I get to talk to the people who want to buy my watches, and they get to talk to me about the watches themselves. There's no better way of buying and selling watches. So come and join me on Whatnot. Download the app using the link in the description down below and get $10 towards your first purchase. I'll see you in my next live stream. The next watch on this list is also not the most hated watch. However, this did get a ton of negative comments in the comment section down below. And I actually was pretty negative about it as well. I thought it looked like it was sort of carved out of a single block of Irish Spring soap. Of course, I am talking about the Timex Waterbury Ocean Collection. This was entirely made out of recycled ocean plastic, and I don't think they did a really good job. Obviously, it goes towards a good benefit of recycling ocean plastic. However, I didn't like the execution of this watch. It only cost $99, not a very expensive watch. I just thought it looked very cheap, and I did not like the material, the colors that they chose, the style of the bracelet, the style of the bezel. They used a fluted bezel. I thought all of it did not mesh very well together. A solid color would have looked a lot better and actually more expensive, I think, than the $99 price tag. That was something that I brought up, and I think a lot of people agreed with me down in the comment section. So the next watch on this list, now we're getting to watches that a lot of the comments, almost all of the comments were negative, and that is the GP GirardPerregaux Casquette. Now, I don't really agree with this. I love that watch. I made a very positive video about this watch. It was a limited edition. It actually did sell out, but a lot of people did not like the fact that this was a very expensive watch and it was quartz. Totally understand that. I did really love this watch either way. It came in an all black case. It's a reissue almost exactly of the original Casquette. And unfortunately, this was pretty expensive. And of course, it still has the same exact problem that the original did. It's a driver's watch, but to see the time, you have to press a button. So a lot of people not very happy about it. The functionality doesn't really make a lot of sense. You have to press a button while you're driving. Obviously, you can get into an accident, and that's kind of the reason why it got tons of negative comments. Next on the list is one of the most hated watches thus far this year. And of course, it's a watch that nobody asked for. It came from Rolex. It's the GMT-master 2 left-hand drive. They put the crown on the left-hand side. Nobody was asking for this. A lot of people had wish lists of what they wanted Rolex to come out with, and I don't think this made it to anyone's wish list. No one saw this coming, and a lot of people really hated it. It's essentially the exact same watch that we get from Rolex currently, the GMT-master 2, except it's in a new colorway and you have the crown on the left side. It's the same price. It looks pretty much the exact same as the other watches in the lineup. However, again, left-hand side, it does look a little bit weird. People went mad. Tons of negative comments on the video that I did for this watch, and obviously with good reason. Next on the list is a watch that I don't like, and that is the Seiko 5 Sports Brian May limited edition. They came out with another limited edition this year. This time it has a gold case, a little bit different of a strap, but that same awful yin and yang dial. It's meant to look like Brian May's guitar. However, I don't think it looks like one. It looks very weird, and I have never liked this watch. I didn't like the original watch that came out with the stainless steel case. That was a limited edition. They came out with another limited edition. It has a very high number in this limited edition as well. All of the originals sold out, so I may be wrong here, and I think a lot of people disagreed with me, but this did get a ton of negative comments, and I obviously did not like the watch. I tried to be a little bit more fair in my review of this watch, or news video that I did for it. However, I think my opinion came through. Unfortunately, I do not like this watch. I don't think it's a very good looking watch. It's a Seiko 5, not a bad watch, but the price that they were asking for it, all of the components, the dial, the case color, the strap, not a fan of any of it. And there you go. And that was one of the most hated watches that I reviewed on the channel this year so far. The number one most hated watch this year, and it's actually number 6 on this list. I added another one as I was going through it. It is the Moon Swatch. Now, the Moon Swatch, when it came out, one of the most hyped watches of the year, one of the most hyped watches of all time. They came out with this watch. They made a ton of promises that you would be able to get one. Tons of people waited online, lots of disappointed people out there. And I made a few different videos on this, and I could see the progression of every single video that I did. The tide has turned. People now hate this watch, and it's very unfortunate. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's heavily flawed. There are many flaws on this watch. It's a charming watch nonetheless. This is a watch that I bought. I actually bought 2 of them this year. I bought the Mission to the Moon, Mission to Saturn. I gave the Saturn away. That Mission to the Moon I think is going to stay in my collection. I really do like the look of it. It looks like a Speedmaster Professional. That's not a bad thing. Is it well made? No. Will I wear it every day? Absolutely not, because it will eventually fall apart. Number one, people believe that it cheapens the Omega brand. And I have to say, that was the number one comment that I got in the comment section. A lot of people believe that it cheapens the Omega brand, brings the Omega brand down. The second reason most stated in the comments down below in the videos that I did for the Moon Swatch was, of course, that it is a toy, that it's a disposable piece of crap, and that you could wear it for a little while and it'll just fall apart on your wrist. Now, that's a little bit far, I think, in my opinion. I think you could actually wear this watch for a pretty good amount of time. You probably cannot wear it every day. It will eventually fall apart. However, that's if you wear any swatch every single day. All swatches are made at this level. This is not a cheaper watch than any other swatch that they've made in the past. This is basically on par with all other swatches. So a lot of people really hating in the comments. I would say an overwhelming majority of the comments are negative on the Moon Swatch now. And that is all because of the way that Swatches handled this watch. They have not come out with it online. That is a big problem for them. And they basically lied to the public and said that they would. They cannot meet demand. They've been making a lot of them, delivering them to stores, having lines outside the door, and they aren't doing a good job of handling all this PR. Anyway, that's really it. those are the 6 watches that I chose. And not really me, actually it was you guys who chose those watches. I went through all of my comments and I saw a lot of negative comments for these watches. Also thumbs down that I got a lot of on these watches as well. And obviously there's good reason. Now, a lot of these watches are very controversial or really pretty terrible. So that's pretty much it. Tell me if there's any watches that I missed or you guys missed this year. Maybe it was a watch that I didn't cover here on my channel. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below, any watches that I might have missed. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon, it is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.